Hi everybody, I just wanted to hop on in here and give a little follow-up to a post I did a few days ago about how do you deal with mixed signals in a relationship. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Brianna McWilliam and I'm an author, educator, Reiki practitioner, and creative arts therapist, and I've been in the field for over 12 years now. And I also provide online courses and programs. Particularly through this group, it's a program called Healing Attachment Wounds. So it's a 7-week course that takes you through the different phases of the romantic journey, as I like to call it. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I can include that in the caption of this video. But for today, I wanted to just follow up with that post. I had posted an image and asked if anyone was struggling with mixed signals in relationships to kind of give me an emoji or some kind of shout out below. And there were a lot of people who responded, so I felt like the content was really important to address. Now, here's a few of the comments and questions that I gleaned that from, and this is collected from both the Facebook feed as well as from my YouTube channel. So here were a few questions. I was wondering if you could make a video about breadcrumbing. I've been the victim of this phenomenon for some time. She always sends me very minimal messages that show signs of interest but doesn't commit to anything real. Here's another one. We aren't technically in a relationship, just everything is like we are, and he expects things to be like we are but won't admit just how much I do for him. It's so confusing to me right now to know that, to not know what the hell he wants. I don't know. Another one. I hadn't expected to hear from him after we broke up, but he has initiated contact twice. Many people in my life say he's doing that because he cares for me, but he also feels guilty. Here's another one. I'm having an issue in my anxious-avoidant trap relationship where I'm not getting a no when he's a maybe, or I get silence when he's a no, and I feel like I need to pull that no out of him. I need to hear the no because then I feel more emotionally free. I'm struggling with whether or not I'm being compassionate with him around that. So that was in response to a live stream that I did where we're talking essentially about boundaries, where your yeses mean nothing without your nos. And so the question's about, well, what if someone's unclear about their yeses or their nos? Okay. Now, I find mixed signals, or at least perceived mixed signals, that they're usually the result of one of two things. And so the first thing is a genuine breakdown in communication styles, right? We don't necessarily have to jump to trauma or attachment wounding. It could just be a breakdown in communication. Or there is the presence of what I'm going to call attachment ambivalence. Okay. So for today, I just want to give you kind of an outline of what it is I would like to explore. And I'm thinking that this topic is probably large enough that we could do a real webinar presentation, free training on this. So I'm going to give you kind of a breakdown of the way I see it, sort of an outline. And then what I would like is if you've watched this video and this is something you're interested in, if you could, in the comments below, give me a few more specifics in how this has affected you personally. Because I would like to make this training tailored to more specific examples, like real life examples, rather than just remaining in the realm of the theoretical, right? So the way I'm kind of seeing it is that, number one, it's a genuine breakdown in communication styles. And so there's kind of two aspects to this. The first is that what's going on is there's unempathic listening. Equally, probably unempathic communication as well. But overall, unempathic listening. So this includes paying attention to surface structure communications versus deep structure communications. Also looking at imago dialogues for learning how to communicate more empathically, right? Now, the second thing is brain chemistry, that there really are some significant biological influences over our brain chemistry that can impact our temperaments, the way we act, the way we respond to people, the way we receive other people's communications, right? So there is some research for those of you that are in cisgendered heterosexual relationships that might point towards some differences in male versus female brains. How much of that is biology first or social conditioning second or first? I don't know. There's a mix, but there is some substantiated research that shows the way that cisgendered men and cisgendered women process information can conflict in pretty particular ways. The second thing is that there are also 5 big bosses of the brain, meaning there are 5 kind of essential elements of the brain that can all lead towards the way we are in relationships. And knowing which part of your brain is more or less active or more or less stimulated, whether it's biology or social conditioning, can really help you in being more empathic towards your partners and in your communication styles. Okay. Now, the second thing, so that's like, okay, here's a couple of things. There's probably others, but to my mind, those are a few major things that may impact a genuine breakdown in your communication style, right? So rather than just ascribing someone a particular attachment style or something like that, it's important to take a look at, well, is it just that the communication is a bit hinky, okay? Now, the second thing, what if there is the genuine or the presence of genuine ambivalence? Right? So now this is when we're getting more into attachment-related reasoning or attachment-related stimulus, right? So the first thing we have to look at is attachment styles as existing on a continuum, that they're not really boxes that anybody quite so neatly fits into, that it's actually a frequency of behavior, of response, and a way of thinking around attachment ambivalence. Okay, so remember that XY axis for those of you that have been following for a while. For those of you that are new to the group, that's something I would explain in greater detail in our free training coming up. And so the important thing to remember here is that both avoidant people and anxious people give mixed signals. Oh, yes, they do. Both of them. And actually, the activating strategies for someone who is an open heart or more anxious, it includes mixed signals. And deactivating strategies, for those of you that might be rolling stones or what is sometimes referred to as avoidantly attached, those include mixed signals as well. So it doesn't belong to any one camp, okay? Now, how do we get out of it? How do we start to clear up our communications? And then how do we work with our activating or deactivating strategies to try to meet in the middle? So those are some things that I would like to talk about in a more in-depth and upcoming training. So if you have experienced mixed signals in your relationships, whatever that means to you, I've heard the term breadcrumbing and things like that. If you find yourself getting lost in quandaries about how do I figure out what this person is thinking or feeling because they won't tell me, or they don't seem to know, or this and that, and any of those things, you find yourself getting caught in that hamster wheel. Let me know in the comments below how it has appeared in your life specifically. And the more I know about your specific situation, the better I can use the language to help you understand it in your own context. Okay? So let me know in the comments below, how have mixed signals manifested in your life and relationship? And just do me a favor. Keep it to within 4 to 5 sentences. Please, no novels in the comments below. I'll never be able to get through all of it or to address it. So try to keep it to between 3 to 5 sentences, how mixed signals have manifested in your experience, okay? Avoid the paragraphs, concise, succinct, to the point, and I want to try to address it in real time, your real experience on this training, all right? So when I start seeing some responses below, then I can put together a date and a time and some content to be sharing with you all over this topic. Thank you. Have a great day.